and then have a short exchange with you. How does that sound?
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, over to you.
Okay, thanks. Just starting right simple, I love to work with people. I love to see them grow, and I'm blessed and actually also privileged to work with a team of people who are sharing this passion. Obviously, foremost our HR director. I think you heard about from her in the earlier sessions, Irina. She is great help for all of things. And this being said, I want to talk about coaching, and I'm sorry about this the tongue-breaking title, but I guess everybody knows what coaching is about. Maybe just briefly, before I dive into the subject, briefly introducing myself. As being said, my name is Ronald. I'm serving now for Hemofarm for the last 11 years almost as CEO, and actually, I studied engineering and business, so unfortunately no psychology, but somehow worked with people all way long. I worked in many different areas and industries, actually pharma, which Hemofarm represents. This seems to be a kind of pharmaceutical morning to you all. Pharmaceuticals was new to me when I came here to Serbia, the Balkans, and was entering into Hemofarm. Before I was working in a cultural project led by state and organizations, and still it's all about the same. It's about people. Especially when in times of rapid change. I think some change people can digest, but when there's more change to come, then there is a need to lead the people more. You know very well, you need to communicate with people, you need to talk to people, you need to help them to understand, to embrace this change, and to understand things from their side. But it's not only the macro change initiated by companies or environment which is impacting us all. It's also personal changes. Personal changes coming from ideally career things. So if you're moving up and having a bigger team or being even first-time leader, and also when really things go upside down, then you need someone to talk to, and who to talk to. Mostly we have our partners, we have our family, friends who we can talk to. But let's be fair, who really of those understand what we are doing on a daily basis? I can say for myself, I have a lot of friends, but hardly any of them are in a similar situation than I am. So what we foster and what we're really trying to do here in Hemofarm is to foster contemporary approach to employees development. And I think it was about 2016 when we started really, how can I say, modernizing the company substantially. We started also with coaching. For me, this was a given thing. This was something which I was very much used to during my career. I was both employed and freelanced as interim manager and consultant long years. And big help in all these things which I endeavored were coaches. I had several of them, and this was for me always a huge help. It's a safe environment. It's something where you can open your heart and your soul, and thus actually talk freely about things which is moving you, things which you might don't want to share with your colleagues, with your boss, with anyone in the company, because you might think that it has some kind of impact to you in the end. But when we started to make these bigger changes, and when I started to implement coaching, I have to admit, I remember very well, the first ones I introduced to this coaching thought that they, how can I say, that I believed that they were somehow in need of psychotherapy or of any help. Thus, it wasn't really that much embraced and appreciated when I asked them to go for coaching. Obviously, the country was the reason for this. We have a big need for managers who are capable to manage everyday situations, for them to be in balance. Thus, coaching is merely a support, and it's something which they need to embrace, or which one shall embrace as a support and help, and not see as something which is say prescribed by the boss to make them sane. Because frankly, I wouldn't invest in any person who I don't trust and believe that they will make a great impact in the future. So for me, always coaching was a privilege to have. But as said, in my very early stages at Hemofarm, actually the people thought differently. Luckily, this over the years, everybody understood that coaching is a safe environment, is an environment where you talk freely with someone and nobody knows what is talked about. So we spent a lot of money in external coaches, but then also came across the idea and understanding of in-house coaching. And this was something which really turned the page, I think, in Hemofarm. We have by now more than 20 internal coaches, just a fraction coming from HR, which I'm very proud of, most coming from business. It's different levels of leaders, and we are continuously growing this community and somehow also raising not only awareness, but I'd say curiosity about this too, because somehow word of mouth goes around that it's helpful and useful. So let me talk about how this internal coaching works, because somehow obviously it's different. I am also a certified coach, and I also do coaching for people, not the ones who are reporting directly to me, but suggested middle management, people who are at some kind of crossroad in their career, who have the big trust and support of their superiors. Thus, they are recommended for this program and are shortlisted to be coached. The challenge is in internal coaching more than a normal external coaching that you're working in the same company. Once again, I can say when I'm doing the coaching, one of the things I really have to focus upon is that I am not a CEO anymore, that I'm not a superior, that I don't need to fix things. I just need to listen and to take care about this person who is sitting in front of me, about their needs. And whatever has been shared, I am deemed and I'm kind of fixed on never, ever using this somewhere in the public. But similar to also my colleagues' experience, actually internal coaching is an excellent tool, not only for the ones who are coached, but also for the coachees themselves. Why is this? It's quite simple, because by basically coaching people from different functions, from different locations even, which we are doing, you have an insight which you would have never had before in these operations, in these atmospheres which there are. And as my previous speaker, basically, Zion Roy said, we are also a big company with a lot of diverse and different things and different cultures, basically, slightly different cultures in different locations and departments. We usually start, let's say in technical terms, the internal coaching is very much the same as normal. The in-house coaching is very much the same as normal coaching. So basically, we start with an onboarding. The superior, the coachee, and the coach. We are somehow framing the coaching for some key points, but thereafter, superior leaves the room and the coaching starts, and the coachee works and talks on subjects he wants or she wants to talk about only. And after a while, again, as a normal coaching, we have obviously our updates and our alignment again with the role of the superior in order to see whether improvement has been made, whether different things should need to be tackled, and whether we shall proceed or stop for a while to do the internal coaching. Well, Cyan also mentioned the purpose of B. Brown, and I can't do otherwise than also mention Stada's purpose. Stada is the mother company of Hemofarm. Stada Hemofarm's purpose is to be the trusted partner in health. And once again, frankly, I think we all endure during our working time phases where our mental health is, let's say, not critical. And I'm sorry for probably choosing not the appropriate wording. I'm not a psychologist, but where, let's say, it's a bit stressed and you are, let's say, out of balance. And so providing this coaching in this wider area is actually also serving this purpose to be the trusted partner for our employees, foremost, very, very. Yeah, what to say? The in-house coaching is obviously also about listening, something which I very, very much like actually about, because frankly, too many leaders do not know how to listen. They know how to speak, they know how to send information, but they don't know really to listen carefully, to ask questions, to make the person talk even more about things which they are taught while going through the coaching training and the certification, which we take very seriously, and which I think also we have the joy and luck actually to have very good trainers on this. So I find actually our coaches on a very high level also, and this brings a lot of support and appreciation to this program. Maybe let me state a few statements of both our coachees and coaches about the coaching, and I have noted down some. Our coachees said that coaching helps you identify your key strengths and weaknesses. That's clear. It helps you to achieve your goals while being the best version of yourself. Coaching taught me to be aware about my qualities and raised my self-awareness. And it also helps to make easier decisions and to challenge the status quo. This is what a coach is all about. And frankly, once again, is something which we all need on a daily basis. The coaches actually think that it is a very excellent tool in the process of conscious and continuous change. It provides different insight and solutions. Coachee comes to with an open-minded approach, and it gives us the opportunity to have our own mental mirror through our person and decide on our own that our next steps, what our next steps are. Always have in mind, obviously our internal coaches are not professionals who are wishing and seeking to proceed on a coaching career. They are quality managers, they are purchasing managers, they are coming from regulatory, from finance, and we do this as a part-time thing. So we clearly also differentiate, maybe this is also to be said, we clearly differentiate about the need of the coachee, whether he needs somebody who is really well experienced and absolute professional, thus then he will be assigned to an external coach, or whether it's a bit more softer coaching, then it's the internal coaching. All in all, this is a snapshot of what we are doing in Hemofarm. It's a very, very interesting journey. I'm very proud about what has been achieved so far, but I'm even more curious and eager to see what's coming up now, what things are to be developed, and how this momentum really will embrace the culture of Hemofarm much more. I'm ever so proud that really, I said, from internal coaching, we have, from higher management, like my CFO or myself, to normal middle management as internal coaches. So it's really across the hierarchy, across the functions. And it helps us a lot to grow, to be conscious, to be in balance, and to be a better version, as it's always said, of ourselves, not only in the job, because obviously coaching is not only about job, but as a whole. So thank you very much on this. I hope I gave some insights, and happy to answer any questions if there are.
Yeah, listen, Ronald, you certainly did, absolutely. And as you were talking there, certain things that popped up certainly in my mind, and that I remember really clearly, the listening part, really helping, really doing more listening than talking. Talking, we can do well, right? Yes. As leaders, that's something we do constantly, decision making and talking all the time. However, listening, really kind of stepping back, holding back, isn't always something that we as leaders do as well. So that's certainly something that popped up in my mind. And when you said that phrase, mental mirror, really helping them become a mental mirror of really what's happening up here, right? So that's certain two things. Right, we've got a couple of questions coming through. We'll answer these quite rapidly. Something from Milosh. What is the best approach to overcome cross-cultural differences if you as a business leader open up to move to a branch or office in a different country?
This is something which I can just answer from my own perspective. Once again, it's the same thing as we just discussed now. It's about listening. It's about looking at the people, understanding their culture, because this is always something which is very much different. Although I'm so long already in the Balkans, I have to admit that sometimes I am still surprised about some elements of the culture. If you have those things, if you experience those things, it will help you tremendously to embrace this change. And it's in the end always about the people. So just look what the people need in order to work better. Management leadership is never about yourself. It's just to basically make yourself somehow redundant and make the people be able to work as they need to.
Another question. This might actually be a question to ask privately and answer privately, because it could be quite a long answer. But very briefly, maybe if we can just one main point. Can you please share how to introduce coaching culture to the company and where to start, with in-house coaches or external? So just maybe 2 tips or 3 quick tips where to start for a company that hasn't got this at all.
I would certainly start from professional coaches. I mean, once again, being said, our internal coaches like myself, we are amateurs. We don't do this on a daily basis. I'm also privileged to have a coach. I mean, not in 7 lifetimes I will be as good as he is. Thus, the trust and the understanding what coaching can bring needs to be fostered by external coaches first. But then, based on the people you're working with, and it's, I mean, you can't send everyone on a training for internal coaching. Then you may start with the internal certification quite soon, because once again, it's a tool which not only helps the person, it helps to mix the company, it helps to enrich also the coach's mind, and thus I think it's a powerful and very helpful tool.
Ronald, that is where we'll leave it there. Listen, thank you so much for sharing your insights and a little bit about the Hemofarm story. You're a busy man naturally, so thank you so much again for your time as well.
Thank you very much for giving the opportunity, for being given this opportunity, and I mean it as I say. Hemofarm is residing in Belgrade. I'm actually mostly sitting in Belgrade. If anyone has question is wants to touch base after this, I'm at the disposal. Just pop me in a mail and we'll get in touch and sit down and talk. Thank you very
so much. Bye-bye. So there we have it, the Hemofarm story. Again, looking sort of deeper into coaching, how they're doing it, and some tips again for those of you listening that are thinking perhaps maybe we should be maybe changing our perspective, or even looking at things from a different angle. What we'll do right now is take a very, very short